Did you know that in Nepal, a woman can legally marry multiple brothers from the same family? This surprising custom is just the first of many traditions that make this Himalayan country unique. Here, girls become living goddesses, lakes hold ancestral skeletons, and rituals defy everything we know. In the isolated mountains of Nepal, there is so-called sibling marriage, where a woman marries all the sons of a family. This ancient tradition helps keep the family lands united. Meanwhile, in the cities, hand-picked girls reign as deities until puberty, and widows wear red in a mourning that never ends. Nepal goes far beyond Everest. It's where every corner hides an extraordinary story, where spirituality lives in the streets and nature writes its own legends. A place where the rules of the ordinary world simply don't apply. This is what you'll see from now on World No Filter. Want to be part of a journey full of discovery, fun, and content that will surprise you? Subscribe to our channel by clicking here and don't miss any more videos. Nepal is a country of radical contrasts, where completely opposite landscapes coexist in a surprisingly small space. Imagine leaving a region covered in eternal snow and, within a few hours, finding yourself in a dense, humid tropical forest. This extreme transition makes Nepal one of the most fascinating places in the world. Mount Everest, the highest peak on the planet, rises majestically at 8,848 meters, attracting climbers and adventurers from all over the world. But few know that, to the south of the country, Nepal is home to lowlands, such as the Terai Plains, where the altitude barely exceeds 60 meters above sea level. This variation makes the country's climate and biodiversity incredibly diverse. In the highest regions, the extreme cold and thin atmosphere challenge any form of life. However, even in these hostile environments, people like the Sherpas have developed impressive resilience and adaptation. They live at altitudes where oxygen is scarce and are known for their incredible mountain climbing ability, making them essential guides for adventurers attempting to conquer Everest. In the lowlands, a completely different landscape unfolds. Chitwan National Park, for example, is a true wildlife paradise. There, you can find animals such as Bengal tigers, Indian rhinos, and crocodiles, which share their territory with elephants and monkeys. This natural wealth attracts nature lovers from around the world, who can go on safaris to observe some of the planet's most impressive species up close. Nepal's climatic diversity also impacts agriculture and the population's way of life. While in the higher regions, cultivation is limited to potatoes, barley, and buckwheat, the fertile plains of the Terai grow a wide variety of crops, such as rice, sugarcane, and tropical fruits. This contrast gives each region of Nepal its own culinary and cultural identity. Furthermore, this unique geography has a direct impact on the country's spirituality and traditions. For many Nepalese, mountains are not just geological formations, but sacred entities inhabited by gods and spirits. Everest itself is known locally as Sagarmatha by the Nepalese and Komolungma by the Tibetans, meaning Mother of the Universe. This spiritual connection with nature profoundly influences the culture and beliefs of the population. For all these reasons, Nepal is truly the land of extremes. Nowhere else in the world can you find such geographic and climatic diversity in such a compact area. From the biting cold of the mountains to the humid heat of the forests, every corner of the country holds a surprise and a fascinating story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. This helps us bring you more content like this. In the heart of the Nepalese Himalayas, icy lakes hide mysteries that defy science and fuel legends for centuries. Two of them stand out for the macabre stories and devotion they inspire. Rupkund Lake, the Lake of Skeletons. At over 5,000 meters above sea level, Rupkund Lake reveals a frightening spectacle with each thaw. Hundreds of human skeletons emerge from its waters. For decades, scientists debated the origin of these remains. Some believed they were victims of an ancient blizzard, others, lost soldiers. But DNA tests revealed something even more intriguing. The skeletons belonged to distinct groups, separated by centuries. The most widely accepted theory today is that of a fatal hailstorm. Ice boulders the size of soccer balls killed the travelers instantly. For the locals, however, the lake is cursed. They say that anyone who dares disturb its secrets faces misfortune, such as sudden avalanches or unexplained illnesses. Gosain Kunda, the lake that purifies and haunts. Gosain Kunda, at 4,380 meters, is sacred to Hindus. They believe its waters were created by Shiva to wash away sins. But, like Rupkund, it holds dark secrets. Pilgrims report seeing bones emerging at specific times, attributed to ascetics who died in meditation or travelers who defied the gods. Scientists explain the phenomenon by melting ice that exposes ancient bodies, but the Nepalese see a spiritual warning: only the pure of heart are welcome. During the Janay Purnima festival, thousands risk the journey to the lake to bathe, balancing between faith and fear of the supernatural. Behind the science, both lakes reveal the same lesson. In Nepal, even death is part of a sacred cycle, and the line between the natural and the divine is never clear. The City of Living Gods. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to be treated like a deity from childhood? In Nepal, this happens to the Kumaris, girls chosen to live as living goddesses. But what happens when they leave this sacred status? The Kumaris live a completely different childhood from other Nepalese children. Chosen from families of the Newar community, they undergo a rigorous selection process involving physical and spiritual criteria. It is believed that the goddess Talaju, a Hindu-Buddhist deity, incarnates in these girls, making them living symbols of divine protection and power. Once chosen, the Kumari moves to the Kumari Gar, a palace in the heart of Kathmandu, where she lives in almost total seclusion. She rarely leaves the palace, and when she does, she is carried in arms or on a golden litter, as her feet are not allowed to touch the ground. The mere glance of a Kumari is considered a blessing, and people from all over travel to see her and receive her grace. However, despite her divine status, the life of a Kumari is not without challenges. During her time as a living goddess, she cannot attend school or play like other children. Her education takes place within the palace, and her interaction with the outside world is limited. But the greatest challenge comes when her Kumari status ends. A Kumari loses her divine status upon reaching puberty or suffering an injury that causes her to bleed, as it is believed that the goddess Talaju leaves her body at this time. From then on, she returns to ordinary life, often facing difficulties adapting to society. Some former Kumaris report feeling out of place, lacking the same respect and admiration they once received. Furthermore, a long-held belief holds that marrying a former Kumari brings bad luck, which can make their love life complicated. Despite these difficulties, in recent years, changes have been made to ensure a smoother transition for former Kumaris. Today, they receive educational support and opportunities to build an independent life after leaving the palace. Some have gone on to pursue successful careers and shared their experiences, demystifying the challenges faced outside of their divine role. The Kumari tradition is one of the most fascinating aspects of Nepalese culture. It reflects the fusion of Hinduism and Buddhism and demonstrates how spirituality remains deeply rooted in everyday life in Nepal. The City of the Living Gods, as many call Kathmandu, keeps this tradition alive, enchanting visitors and intriguing scholars from around the world. The Sacred Cows of Nepal. In Nepal, cows are not just animals, they are divine entities. Protected by law, killing a cow can lead to imprisonment, and their sacred status is so respected that even traffic stops when they decide to occupy the streets. This reverence comes from Hinduism, where the cow symbolizes prosperity and motherhood. In rural villages, it is common to see families sheltering elderly cows in their backyards, treating them as members of the family. During the Gai Jatra festival, cows are decorated with garlands and paraded through towns to honor deceased loved ones, believing they guide their souls to the afterlife. The revolutionary tradition of a woman with multiple husbands. In the remote mountains of Nepal, hidden among imposing peaks and secluded valleys, exists a marital practice that defies all Western conventions. In regions like Dolpo and Mustang, fraternal polyandry, where a single woman marries all the brothers in a family, is not only accepted, but also considered a brilliant solution to social and economic challenges. Imagine a family where 3, 4, or even more brothers share the same wife. It sounds like fiction, but it isn't. In the high Nepalese Himalayas, this is an ancient tradition with profoundly practical purposes. In lands where every inch of arable land is worth its weight in gold, dividing property among several sons would be catastrophic. The solution: all brothers inherit jointly and share a single wife, keeping the family heritage intact for generations. But how does this arrangement work in everyday life? The dynamics are fascinating. Women typically rotate through their husbands, with rules established by the family. When one brother travels for months as a trader or with livestock, another takes his place. The children are raised as if they were the children of all the brothers, regardless of biological paternity. The most surprising thing is that, far from causing conflict, this system extraordinarily strengthens family ties. Siblings, already united by blood, become partners in all aspects of life. The wife, in turn, assumes the role of guardian of family harmony, skillfully navigating this complex relationship. In the arranged marriages typical of these communities, families carefully negotiate the terms. The traditional ceremony includes all siblings, and the bride receives gifts from each of her future husbands. Social acceptance is so complete that these unions are celebrated as naturally as monogamous marriages in other cultures. With modernity reaching even the most isolated villages, this tradition is gradually disappearing. However, in the few communities where it still persists, it remains an extraordinary testament to the flexibility of human institutions and the ability to adapt to the most challenging environmental conditions. We want to hear your opinion. What did you think of this curiosity? Comment below. The wedding with a fruit. Before marrying humans, many Nepalese girls are married to a fruit called bell, quince. This ritual, known as IHI, is performed by the Newar community to protect the girls from bad luck if their future husbands die young. The fruit represents the god Vishnu, and the symbolic marriage is celebrated with music, dance, and offerings. After the ceremony, the girl can marry normally, but symbolically, any future widowhood will be attributed to the god, not her. A tradition that blends superstition, spirituality, and cultural resistance. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. This helps us bring you more content like this. The Red Widows of Pashupatinath. On the banks of the Bagmati River, near the Pashupatinath temple, live elderly women dressed in red saris, a symbol of mourning in Nepal. Many were abandoned by their families after the death of their husbands and found refuge in ashrams, spiritual shelters. There, they spend their days praying, singing hymns, and surviving on donations. Red, the traditional color of brides, is ironically used to mark their eternal marriage to the deity. Their stories reveal a dark side of Nepalese society, where spirituality and social exclusion intertwine. In the icy caves of Everest lives Rinzan Funjak Lama, a monk known as the Snow Leopard. For over 20 years, he has meditated in isolation, enduring temperatures of -30 degrees Celsius and claiming to talk to yetis. Locals believe he has mastered the Tummo technique, internal heat yoga, which allows him to melt snow with his bare body. Rinzan rarely descends into the valley, and when he does, he is treated like a living saint. His existence is a reminder that the Himalayas still hold mysteries that science cannot explain. The calendar that lives in the future. While the world follows the Gregorian calendar, Nepal officially uses Bikram Sambat, which is 57 years ahead. In 2024, for example, Nepalese people live in 2081. The calendar, based on solar and lunar movements, begins in 57 BC, the date of King Vikramaditya's victory over invaders. Festivals like Nepali New Year, April, and Dashain, September/October, follow this countdown, creating a fascinating temporal duality for visitors. We want to hear your opinion. What did you think of this interesting fact? Comment below. When people think of Nepal, the first image that comes to mind for most people is Mount Everest and the imposing Himalayan mountains. However, beyond these spectacular landscapes, the country is home to a cultural, geographic, and historical diversity that few know about. In its isolated villages, unusual festivals, and ancient traditions, Nepal reveals surprising facets that go far beyond conventional tourism. Unlike any other country, Nepal boasts a flag with an unusual shape, composed of two overlapping triangles that symbolize the Himalayan peaks and the nation's spiritual heritage. The sun and moon emblems represent the longevity and resilience of the Nepalese people, reinforcing the identity of a country that keeps its traditions alive despite the transformations of the modern world. Beyond the uniqueness of its flag, Nepal hosts vibrant and unique festivities, such as Indra Jatra, in which giant wooden sculptures are carried in processions through the streets of Kathmandu, while the living goddess Kumari appears to bestow blessings on the faithful. Another notable celebration is Kukur Tihar, dedicated exclusively to dogs, which are revered, adorned with flower necklaces, and given special foods, reflecting the Nepalese strong connection with animals and their spirituality. Beyond the festivities, Nepal is home to communities that live in harmony with wildlife, as is the case in Chitwan National Park, where entire villages share their space with Indian rhinos that roam freely through the streets without posing a threat. This peaceful interaction between humans and wildlife reflects centuries of respect and coexistence, a hallmark of Nepalese culture. The country also boasts little-explored archaeological wonders, such as the hanging caves of Mustang. Carved into difficult-to-access cliffs, these mysterious caves intrigue researchers, who are still trying to understand their origin and function. Some scholars believe they served as refuges for ancient communities, while others suggest they were meditation sites for Buddhist monks. What is known for certain is that these spaces hold valuable manuscripts and artifacts, offering clues to civilizations that inhabited the region thousands of years ago. Another fascinating aspect of Nepal is the tradition of Himalayan beekeepers, who brave impressive heights to collect rare honey produced by giant bees. Using rope ladders and rudimentary tools, these collectors risk their lives to reach hives suspended from cliffs. The honey, known for its hallucinogenic properties, is used in medicinal and spiritual rituals, and the practice of collecting continues to be passed down from generation to generation, preserving ancient knowledge. While recognized worldwide for its majestic mountains, Nepal offers much more than icy peaks and adventure trails. Its unique culture, the harmonious relationship between humans and animals, its eccentric festivals, and its ancient traditions make the country one of the most enigmatic places in the world. Discovering these lesser-known facets is immersing yourself in a universe of fascinating stories, where every detail carries profound meaning and a genuine connection with spirituality and nature. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. This motivates us to bring you more content like this. Nepal is a country where spirituality is not limited to temples or monasteries, but is present in every aspect of daily life. The coexistence of Hinduism and Buddhism has created a unique environment of devotion and syncretism, where beliefs and practices harmoniously intertwine. Streets lined with prayer flags, pilgrims in procession, and the constant presence of rituals make Nepal one of the most spiritually vibrant places in the world. The temples scattered throughout the country are much more than structures of worship. They represent centers of energy and connection with the divine. The Pashupatinath complex in Kathmandu, dedicated to Shiva, is one of the most sacred sites in Hinduism. In addition to being a space for prayer, this temple hosts cremation ceremonies on the banks of the Bagmati River, a deeply symbolic rite in Hindu belief. The idea of the impermanence of life is a constant in Nepalese culture, where death is seen as a natural passage rather than a definitive end. Another fundamental symbol of Nepalese spirituality are the stupas, Buddhist monuments of great importance. The Buddhanath Stupa, one of the largest in the world, attracts pilgrims daily who circle it, turning prayer wheels and chanting mantras. The act of walking clockwise around the stupa symbolizes the search for enlightenment and reinforces the idea that spirituality is a constant path of learning and devotion. Besides temples and stupas, monasteries play an essential role in the spiritual formation of the population. Many young people enter these spaces in childhood, where they receive philosophical teachings and learn about meditation and compassion. The practice of meditation, in fact, is deeply rooted in Nepalese culture, seen not only as a religious exercise, but as a means of achieving mental balance and inner clarity. Some monasteries allow visitors to experience silence and introspection, providing a transformative experience for those seeking to connect with themselves. Nepal is also home to spiritual figures who exert great influence over the population, such as sadhus, ascetics who renounce material possessions in search of enlightenment. Recognizable by their orange robes and ash-covered bodies, these sages dedicate their lives to meditation and spiritual practice, living in temples, caves, or even on the streets. For many Nepalese, meeting a sadhu and receiving their blessing is considered a moment of great spiritual importance. The connection between the Nepalese people and spirituality is also reflected in their sacred mountains. Besides Everest, other peaks are revered as the abodes of deities, and many expeditions seek permission from monks before beginning their climb. Respect for nature is seen as part of spiritual practice, and it is common for residents to make offerings at lakes and mountains, believing these places harbor protective spirits. Even in the busiest cities, spirituality is present in simple gestures, such as lighting oil lamps before sacred images or leaving offerings of rice and flowers on small altars. The sound of bells and chants echoes through the streets, creating an atmosphere that transforms everyday life into a constant act of devotion. In Nepal, faith is not restricted to a single moment of the day or a specific space. It is lived intensely, permeating all spheres of existence. Spirituality manifests itself in relationships with others, in respect for nature, and in the search for self-knowledge. More than a destination of temples and monasteries, Nepal is a country where religiosity is a vital force, moving and guiding the journey of its people. Nepal is a country that transcends any simple definition. Its imposing mountains, its rich culture, its unique traditions, and its profound spirituality make it a unique territory in the world. Far beyond the trails that lead to the top of Everest or the vibrant streets of Kathmandu, there is a Nepal that pulsates in every village, in every temple, and in the eyes of its resilient people. Ultimately, Nepal is not just a place to visit, but an experience to be lived. It teaches resilience, faith, and the importance of finding beauty in simplicity. Its culture, people, and spirituality leave profound impressions on all who have the opportunity to experience it firsthand. Those who leave Nepal take with them more than memories. They take away lessons, feelings, and a new perspective on the world and themselves. And for many, this fascinating country always leaves a feeling of a calling to return. We hope this journey through the mysteries of fascinating Nepal has been as exciting for you as it was for us. With that in mind and the effort it takes to make these videos, we'd love for you to leave us a like and a comment. It's the best way to help us continue bringing you the best content every week. If you like this video and haven't yet subscribed, don't waste time and do so now by activating the bell so you don't miss the fascinating videos we produce every week. Videos like this one that you can watch now to discover one of the most fascinating places on the planet. Don't miss this opportunity and discover the wonders that these many other places have to offer.